Careblazer. When you are trying to respond to a difficult dementia-related behavior, it can feel like you're doing all the things you were told to do. You're staying calm. You're making sure your nonverbals are calm. You choose your words carefully. You try to redirect. You validate. You do whatever you can to not escalate it. And yet, the behavior still happens. Maybe it's happening more. Maybe it seems to be getting worse, more intense, or suddenly what you did yesterday that helped, it no longer works today. So if you've ever found yourself asking, why is this so hard? I want you to know that question makes so much sense. And that is exactly the question I want to walk you through today. Why does responding to difficult dementia-related behaviors feel so difficult when you are trying to do everything you possibly can to respond in the right way? For many caregivers, it's actually not one specific behavior that's so hard. It's the unpredictability of when that behavior is going to happen, the constant adjusting, the feeling that you can't fully relax because you never know what's coming next. That's going to wear you down. That would wear anybody down. There are three things that are happening that make it so difficult to respond to dementia-related behaviors. The first one is simply the changing brain. Dementia doesn't stand still. The brain is changing over time. And as the brain changes, the behaviors are going to change with it. Anything that impacts the brain is going to impact behavior. This often means you're not responding to a stable pattern. You're responding to a brain whose abilities shift. Processing speed slows down, their tolerance for stress decreases, their ability to follow steps, accept correction, make sense of the environment, remember what you just said, live in this reality. All of that is changing. That means a strategy that worked before may no longer work. It may just stop working, not because your strategy was ever wrong, but because the brain is no longer processing in the same way. So sometimes caregivers will feel like, I had this figured out and then it stopped. It doesn't mean you lost your skill or you changed something. It just means the brain shifted. And even small changes can have a big impact in how their brain is shifting, sometimes even on a daily basis. Maybe they have a little less sleep, maybe a little more pain, more noise, more visitors, more visual clutter, more demands in their day. All of that can impact their capacity. So when a behavior shows up differently or more intensely than it did before, that's not a reflection of a caregiving mistake. It's a reflection of a changing brain. The second reason responding to behaviors is so difficult is because the target keeps moving. Even when two situations look exactly the same on the surface, the cause underneath those situations may be completely different. A person can be resisting care, maybe because they're scared, or because they're overwhelmed, or in pain, or tired, or because they feel rushed, or because they don't understand what's going on around them. So even when we're dealing with the same behavior, if the cause underneath that behavior is different, it often means the way we respond needs to be different too. Another reason why what works one day might not work the next. Another reason why you may use the same words, the same tone, the same approach and get a different reaction. And that inconsistency can leave caregivers feeling like nothing is reliable and, quite frankly, just burn us out. This also explains why two people with the same diagnosis and the same symptoms respond very differently to the same approach. The way to help somebody with dementia take a shower when they don't want to shower can look like 100 different ways, depending on the person, their personality, and what we think is underneath their resistance to the shower. Their personality matters, their life history matters, the relationship they have with the caregiver matters, the environment matters. So many different things matter and play a role. which makes it so hard for the caregiver to figure out what to do in this moment. So when somebody says, this works perfectly for us, or this is the thing that really did the trick for us and it doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean you did it in the wrong way at all. It means you're dealing with a different cause, a different person with a different personality. And the third common reason why dementia-related behaviors can feel so difficult to respond to is that in order to respond in the best way possible, it often requires a caregiver who is at their best possible. You're not just responding to what they're doing, you're managing your own nervous system at the same time. You're trying to track their patterns, to remember what happened last time, what seemed to work better, what seemed to set them off. You're watching for triggers. You're trying to keep them calm. You're trying to keep yourself calm. You're trying not to make it worse. All the while, you are likely tired, stressed, overwhelmed, emotionally stretched. That level of constant monitoring is exhausting. And that's why trial and error can feel so draining. We're often told to, if an approach doesn't work, just switch it up, to try something different. But when we're already so exhausted because we just need a break, this just feels daunting. We aren't just dealing with the behavior. We are dealing with the adjusting, the thinking, the emotional labor layered on top of that behavior. So when a behavior is happening and the caregiver isn't having the success that they want, it often turns internal to, I should know how to handle this by now. I must be doing something wrong. Why can't I figure this out? Other people have been able to figure it out, and we start to internally judge ourselves and criticize ourselves. So when we're dealing with difficult dementia-related behaviors, I want to offer a reframe that might be helpful. And that is, sometimes success is not that the behavior goes away entirely. That maybe isn't the best measure of success here. Maybe a decent measure of success sometimes is that it escalated less, that you were able to calm them down more quickly, that you recovered more quickly afterwards, that it didn't stay with you or get you riled up for as long, that you were able to calm yourself or move on quicker. All of those are valid measures of success. If you are somebody who is facing some difficult dementia-related behaviors and you are looking for something to help in any way possible, I want to invite you to my upcoming Dementia Behaviors Breakthrough Program. It's just a live class that you can attend where I'll be walking through some practical real-world strategies that you can try with your loved one, as well as how to cope with a lot of that internal frustration, fatigue, overwhelm, and that internal criticism and that dialogue that caregivers often go through. You can learn more by going to the description below this video or going to our website, www.careblazers.com. I'm sending you so much love, Careblazer. Bye.
Also, Nico gets a belly rub for every person who subscribes from this video. So if you haven't already, click the red subscribe button. It's totally free, and Nico says thank you very much.